And you can see the Incheon flight. This is a very interesting development. Our air service development team has been working on getting nonstop freighter service. So these are 747s from Portland to Asia. It is 100% export. We get no import off of this, and I'll tell you why here in a second. You can see over in Incheon here, where the big airport in Korea is. It starts here. And it flies to Anchorage. They do what they call a technical stop. They fuel and they probably crew. Then it goes down to Miami, and then it goes and it discharges the bulk of its cargo, and then it goes to Atlanta. Now, ordinarily, it would go from there back to Anchorage to do another tech stop, fuel, and passengers. We sat down with Boeing Airlines and their technical staff and looked at the particular planes of this carrier and said, okay, would it be possible to do the technical stop in Portland instead of Anchorage? And this took a longer time than I would have imagined. I figured two smart guys and a slide rule, but it took some time. And they said, yes, it would. So we approached Asiana, showed them all the market data in terms of cargo opportunities, got some great financial help from Business Oregon, and finally Asiana decided to give this a real try because there is no advantage to the Anchorage stop except for its proximity. They get no cargo up there at all. And these maps never give you a real full appreciation for the actual distances because they're flat and the globe is not. But Anchorage is a considerable advantage from that perspective. And so far it's working, and the types of cargoes we've seen, a lot of frozen blueberries. Frozen blueberries can go to Korea, so we see a lot of those. Once you get to Incheon, though, they have lots of connecting cargo flights to places all throughout Asia, so that happens. It's been just a terrific addition, and I'm pretty confident they're going to make a go of it. And this could generate more because most of these carriers would love to find a place to stop in the lower 48 before they head back to Asia and at least have a chance of taking a little cargo with them because, as you know, these are all import-oriented services. And the idea of flying a revenue back in the other direction is pretty attractive. Marine facts, believe it or not, last year was the third largest tonnage year in port history. And the reason for that is pretty simple. Commerce on the Columbia River, maritime commerce, is booming. And it is mainly agricultural exports. It is primarily as a result of soybean exports. Soybeans, this always kills people when they learn it, is America's largest export to China by value and by volume. We're not growing any soybeans here yet, but I think they're headed our way. They started from the south and they're moving up to the upper Midwest, which is in our capture zone, and they're probably headed west as well. This is a trend that I do not believe is going to change. The Chinese have given up on the idea that they can be self-sufficient in the production of their own food, and they have just decided to open the doors on soybean exports. The door, very surprisingly, is beginning to open on corn, which no one would have predicted a few years ago. And so this rapidly growing middle class in China is simply demanding a greater palate, if you will, and a more expensive palate. And I think that is going to drive a tremendous amount of agricultural exports. And that's, frankly, where we're making a bet. 575 vessel calls at our port 15 years ago, that would have been about 800. So how could we have the third highest tonnage year in our history with that many fewer vessel calls? Bigger ships, deeper channel. That's really how that works. We have 5 container shipping lines: Yangming, which is a Taiwanese carrier; COSCO is a Chinese state-owned carrier; K-Line is Japanese; and Hanjin, which is Korean. Hanjin is the lead carrier. They're a coalition of carriers. They operate kind of like the airline alliances in many respects. And then we have Hapag-Lloyd, which serves both South America, Central America, and then on to Europe through the Panama Canal. I mentioned that we have leased the operation of our terminal to this ICTSI. They're a Philippine-based company, fourth largest independent operator in the country, but it relieves us of the tremendous financial challenges of operating a modern maritime container facility. You can see their global operations. I like to say they're in all kinds of out-of-the-way places, including Portland. You know, we're 107 miles up the Columbia River. Not really an ideal location for a container facility, but it's the only one on the Columbia River, and frankly, it's the only one we're going to have because our market size is small. Container facilities want either lots of people close by or easy to get to lots of people, neither of which really describes us. And so, yet, it is absolutely vital for the export of agricultural exports, because many of them actually do go by container, and this has been a terrific development for us. So the kind of imports that we get, you know, furniture, lots of it. Fred Meyer is the largest single importer at the Port of Portland, they and Kroger. Tires, a lot of that is Les Schwab. And footwear and apparel. You might be thinking that's Nike, but actually it's not. It's people like Keen Footwear and and many others, a variety of different types of wood products, finished wood products, and glass, which is for all kinds of folks, the wine industry, the beer and brewing industry, and others. Now, I always like to stress imports because in the container business, if you don't have any imports, you're not going to have any exports because you won't have the empty containers in position to take those exports. We've worked very hard to recruit importers to our area so that we get that continuing supply of empty containers that are then available to fill with things like compressed hay or peas, lentils, and beans, or the various things that go out, and we've had some success with that.